Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Joshua Heeman, and I'm here today on behalf of my client, the Joshua McClain, to address a few concerns from a Mr. Darken Graves, or perhaps, since it's the game he's been playing all week, we should call him Matthew Smith. Let's begin, shall we, Mr. Smith? You come right out of the gate trying to pull back some veils, trying to pull back the screen and trying to get real. You make a lot of claims and boisterous claims about being all about IW, and about drug users, and about people who just mess things up, and you completely skip a whole bunch of information. But that's okay, because I understand, Mr. Smith, you are trying to make a narrative. You are trying to add significance to your poor little life. You are trying to add significance to a man who has none. That's why you surround yourself with other individuals. That's why you can't be in IW without an unholy four. That's why you come out here talking about having that big brain and everyone else being stupid. You know, I find it funny that you, above all others, were the ones that have a problem with Gary Kirk. How you were the one who insisted time and time again he was still on drugs. He was still on drugs. I mean, I would almost say it takes an addict to know an addict, doesn't it, man? And I have conversations from you with other people talking about your use of drugs. I have conversations showing, explaining. I even have things from your parents talking about how sometimes you just get a little overboard. How sometimes if you're not on your medicine, you just go a little too far, do a little too much, get a little too excited. You, Matt, are no different than Gary. You're just a different face. You have that same inability to escape the fact that this is all not real. This is a green screen, Matt. This is a game. And normally I wouldn't be out here talking about how this is a game. I would be continuing to play the game. But that's not what you're trying to do this week. That's not what you were trying to do last week. You took a man who was barely holding on, who the only thing he had to do with his spare time was play a game, and you found a way to ruin it for him. So let me ask you this, man. Who's the real tumor? Who's the real cancer? Because, you know, things around here still aren't any better, and now you stand out there and you hide behind the death of another man's child to try and make yourself look noble. That is the most disgusting thing I have ever seen. And you want to know why my client hasn't bothered to speak to you yet this week? Making comments about deadlines and how you are single-handedly saving IW. And it's because you haven't said anything worth replying to, Matt. You, like Gary, have nothing else to do with your life, so you can sit at home all day long recording yourself with your little phone, with your stupid little Castle Graves in the middle of nowhere. You're basically glorified trailer, and pretend to be something. While at the same time pulling back that veil and like, oh, this is all this and this is all that. You need to stay on a single page, man. I understand all that shit fucked up in your head that doesn't understand what's what or where's where. Can't just focus. That's why you need to put video after video after video. You have to keep yourself busy, just like Gary had to. Because if you're not busy, if you're not keeping idle hands occupied, well, they just might do the devil's work. Mr. the Antichrist of professional wrestling. It's laughable. You are nothing more than a baby, a child who's determined to get his own way. And that's fine. That's all right and good. You can go ahead and you can flood the page with whatever you want. Talk about whatever you want. Because honestly, all your talk about fear, Matt, let's be real here. Your fear is that you're no different than Gary. The only difference is Gary doesn't get himself mixed up with random women on the internet and then get heartbroken when they don't feel the way he feels they should. Doesn't create stories about events that happened between other women on the internet that didn't happen. But in his head they did. So it must be real. Right? I mean, that's what you did with Iron Bison's wife. That's what you tried to do with my wife. Since we're getting real here. You are a cancer, Matt. You are the cancer. Gary wasn't the cancer. Ronnie James isn't the cancer. You are. And the thing that makes them different than you is they know they're fucked up. They know they have problems. They know that the world hates them. You don't realize it. You don't realize how potentially insulting it is that you decided you were putting together a GoFundMe for David's son. Because that made sense. He has one. He had one that he put together when Jackson first got sick. It's still up and it's still running. But you had to make another one so that you could make yourself look like a good guy. Because you're afraid that you're not. That you're not everybody's friend. That you're not a likable individual. So you need to do these little things to convince yourself and hopefully convince other people. You're the worst kind of person, Matt. And that's why, now to play the game, Monday night inside that Mall of America in Minneapolis, my client, the Joshua McClain, he'll get his hands on you. And he's going to enjoy inflicting upon you all the suffering you think you've been through for real. In the meantime, maybe you can have another masturbation session with Mariah Taylor. It's nice talking to you, Matt. We'll do this again sometime.